spices, and it's served with a bourbon sauce. This bread pudding recipe is based on one from the famed Bon Ton Cafe in New Orleans. The sauce uses plenty of bourbon, but you can adjust the amount or not even have any in it if you didn't want any. But the bourbon sauce is awesome. It's awesome sauce. This recipe calls for raisins, but I don't like raisins in my bread pudding. But if you were to put a cup of raisins in it, you could soak that for a couple hours or a day in bourbon. So, this is the ingredients list. 1 loaf of rustic bread. I like to toast the bread to give it that rustic look. Also, I'm adding a chopped up, dried cinnamon roll. It also calls for 1 quart of milk, 3 eggs, 2 cups of sugar. I'm actually going to use palm sugar or brown sugar. 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract, 1 cup of raisins, as I said, and you can omit that if you don't like raisins. 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, melted. And I like to use Kerrygold because I'm a bit Irish. But that sounded like Scottish. Hey, Scottish, Irish is the same thing, isn't it? No, it's not. Okay, to start this, preheat your oven to 350. Now you're going to place the bread in a large mixing bowl and add the milk sparingly. I don't like mushy bread pudding. I like a little bit of texture to it, a little bit of a bite. So I just add it just to where it's going to soak in. In a separate bowl, whisk the eggs. Then whisk in the sugar, vanilla, allspice, and cinnamon, or any other spices that you like to use. Pour over the bread and milk mixture, and add the bourbon-soaked raisins if you like, and gently stir to combine. Now that that's done, get a 9 by 13 inch baking pan. Coat the bottom and the sides of the pan well with butter. Pour the bread, milk, and egg mixture into the baking pan. Now, you want to bake at 350 degrees for 35 to 45 minutes. Check it in the in-between time until the liquid is set. The pudding is done when the edges start to get a bit brown and pull away from the edge of the pan. Now for the bourbon sauce. You'll need a 1/2 cup or a stick of butter melted, 1 cup of sugar, 1 egg, and a 1/2 cup of Kentucky bourbon whiskey. Use the good stuff. If you want to omit the whiskey, if you're making this a kid-friendly recipe, you can use a 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, which will give it a nice tangy, sweet something. I don't know. What was I going to say there? Not sure. But yeah, go with that. While the bread pudding is cooking, melt the butter in a medium saucepan on low heat for the bourbon sauce. Add the sugar and egg and whisk well to blend. Slowly cook over low heat, stirring constantly until the mixture thickens enough to coat the back of a spoon or it feels thick. Then remove from heat. Do not allow the mixture to simmer or the sauce will curdle. By the way, if your sauce does curdle, just take it off the heat and blend it smooth in a blender. Hence the word blending. Okay, now whisk in the bourbon to taste. Whisk again before serving. The sauce should be soft, creamy, and smooth. Serve the bread pudding with bourbon whiskey sauce on the side. Pour on what you like to taste. Best fresh and eaten the day it is made. So I hope you like this recipe and the video. If you do, please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, be safe.